Its obsidian hull absorbed the starlight as if it were a living creature, one that had witnessed the rise and fall of empires across the galaxy. Within its command bridge, Captain Elias Rains sat before a sprawling holographic star map that pulsed with distant, flickering signals, a map of a universe in turmoil. Every line, every glimmer of light, was a potential threat or opportunity, and the weight of those choices pressed upon him like gravity itself. In the quiet hum of the bridge, Rains recalled the long night spent poring over classified intelligence reports, the debates in cramped briefing rooms, and the countless moments of doubt that had shaped his resolve. Now, as the flagship of the human resistance, the Black Ship was humanity's spearhead, a silent promise that Earth's legacy would not fade into obscurity. His second-in-command, Commander Marisol Voss, stood at the console nearby, her eyes sharp with determination. The bond between Rains and Voss was forged in the furnace of conflict and loss, and in this moment, their unspoken communication was as crucial as any tactical protocol. Their current mission was a delicate dance of diplomacy, deception, and drastic measures, a balancing act that could tip the scales of an interstellar war. An emissary from the enigmatic Zaran delegation had transmitted a message minutes ago, one that hinted at both salvation and betrayal. The Zaran, once aloof and inscrutable, now offered an alliance against a mutual enemy, the Dominion, a relentless force of expansionism that sought to enslave or exterminate every civilization in its path. Lieutenant Orlan, whose quick fingers navigated the intricate web of the ship's systems, broke the silence. Captain, the Zaran data packet confirms Dominion fleet movements near Helios Prime. Their formation is unlike any we've seen before, highly coordinated, almost as if they were following a preordained plan. His voice trembled with a mix of excitement and apprehension. Rains leaned forward, studying the swirling data. We suspected as much, but this is different. The Dominion aren't just gathering forces, they're positioning themselves for a decisive strike. The colony on Helios Prime is our gateway, a linchpin in the fragile equilibrium between our territories. Voss interjected, her tone measured yet urgent. If the Dominion's assault is imminent, we have but a narrow window to act. The Zaran are extending an olive branch, but their trust is not freely given, and neither is ours. We must verify the intelligence while preparing for the worst. A tense pause filled the room as Rains weighed the stakes. The decision was monumental: to trust an alien race with a history of subtle manipulation or to risk isolation against an overwhelming foe. We'll send a recon team to Helios Prime immediately. Orlan, prepare a stealth shuttle. I want eyes on that colony within the hour. Voss, open a secure channel to our liaison on the Zaran vessel. We need to gauge their intentions before committing further. As orders were dispatched, the Black Ship's engines thrummed with renewed purpose, propelling them toward a destiny that teetered on the edge of diplomacy and conflict. Outside the command window, the stars streaked past like fleeting memories, silent witnesses to the unfolding drama of war and survival. Aboard the Zaran diplomatic vessel, a shimmering, iridescent construct that defied the conventional design of any known civilization, Ambassador Karen awaited the human response. His many-lidded eyes, reflective and unnervingly calm, observed the unfolding events with a measured detachment that belied the urgency of the situation. In the Zaran culture, honor and duty were intertwined in a delicate tapestry, and their decision to ally with humanity was one born of necessity rather than trust. Karen had seen too many of his people perish at the hands of the Dominion's relentless advance. Now, in a calculated act of desperation, he had placed his faith in the human spirit, a spirit defined by resilience and defiance. On the secure channel, Karen's voice emerged, soft yet resonant. Captain Rains, we understand the gravity of your predicament. Our intelligence indicates that the Dominion's strategy on Helios Prime is but a prelude to a broader campaign, a campaign designed to shatter alliances and plunge our sectors into chaos. We offer you our full support, not as friends in the traditional sense, but as allies united by necessity. However, be warned, the Dominion employs deception as readily as we employ diplomacy. In our view, drastic measures may soon become imperative. Rains absorbed every word, aware that behind Karen's measured tone lay layers of calculated risk. Ambassador Karen, your offer is as intriguing as it is perilous. We share a common enemy, yet our histories are riddled with mistrust and conflict. How can we be sure that your intelligence is not itself a trap, a ruse to draw us into an ambush? There was a pause, filled with the quiet hum of alien machinery. Then, Karen responded, "Trust, Captain, is a currency in short supply these days. I propose a demonstration of good faith. Allow our navigational arrays to share real-time data on Dominion movements. Cross-reference it with your own sensors. If our information aligns, then we can move forward in unity. Failure to do so, however, will force us to reconsider our course, an outcome that will benefit neither side." Rains exchanged a brief look with Voss, who nodded subtly. "Very well, Ambassador. We'll begin synchronizing our sensor arrays. But understand this, if we find discrepancies, our alliance will be forfeit, and we'll consider your actions as the first step toward hostility." Karen's many-lidded gaze seemed to twinkle with an inscrutable emotion. "Understood, Captain. Let us proceed with clarity and precision." As data streams converged on the black ship's holographic display, Orlan's voice emerged from the consoles. "Captain, our sensors confirm Dominion formations converging on Helios Prime. Their fleet is massive, likely hundreds of ships. And look at this, there's an irregularity in their command pattern. It appears there's a disruption near the center of their formation. Could this be a feint or a weakness?" Rains studied the data, his mind racing. That disruption might be our window of opportunity, a chink in the Dominion's armor. If we can exploit it, we might force them to reveal their hand. But we need to be cautious. The Dominion is as unpredictable as it is ruthless. Over the next several tense minutes, the crew worked in unison, merging sensor data from both human and Zaran systems. The resulting composite map was a masterpiece of cosmic strategy, a layered tableau of potential moves and countermoves. Yet even as alliances were forged in digital streams, a darker reality began to unfold. The diplomatic channel crackled with an urgent message from the Zaran. "Captain Rains, a new development. Our intelligence suggests that a Dominion flagship, potentially harboring the enemy's commanding officer, has deviated from its formation. Its trajectory is erratic, as if under duress or influence. We advise caution. This may be a deliberate ploy to distract your attention from their primary force." The implications were staggering. A decoy flagship would be designed to mislead, to sow confusion among allied forces, or perhaps to bait the human fleet into a vulnerable position. Rains weighed the risks. "Ambassador Karen, if that flagship is indeed a decoy, what would be the Dominion's endgame? Are they using it to lure us away from Helios Prime, or is it meant to split our focus entirely?" Karen's reply was measured. "We can only surmise that the Dominion seeks to fracture our unified front. A divided enemy is an enemy more easily manipulated. It is imperative that we remain vigilant, confirming every data point before making a move. The slightest miscalculation could result in catastrophic losses." Commander Voss, ever the pragmatist, interjected. "Captain, while we debate strategy, we risk missing our window of opportunity. I propose a two-pronged approach: dispatch a small strike team to investigate the anomaly, while the main fleet holds position near Helios Prime. If the flagship is a trap, we can neutralize it without jeopardizing our broader defensive posture." Rains considered her proposal carefully. The risks were enormous on both fronts. Splitting the force might leave them vulnerable, yet inaction could allow the Dominion to execute a devastating pincer maneuver. "Prepare a strike team," he finally ordered. "Lieutenant Orlan, you're in charge of a 3-ship contingent. Proceed with extreme caution and maintain stealth protocols. Relay any findings immediately. We cannot afford to be misled." Within minutes, a sleek trio of scout ships detached from the main vessel, their engines whispering as they vanished into the depths of space. The crew on the black ship held its collective breath as the Recon team embarked on its high-stakes mission. Hours passed like lifetimes as sensor arrays tirelessly monitored the movements of the Dominion fleet. In that period of anxious waiting, the black ship's corridors seemed to throb with the pulse of impending conflict. Rains paced the command deck, his mind a battleground of strategic calculations and memories of past sacrifices. Every decision he made now could alter the fate of not just his crew, but of countless civilizations under threat. At last, Lieutenant Orlan's voice crackled over the comm link. "Captain, this is Orlan. We've reached the vicinity of the anomaly. Preliminary scans confirm that the flagship is emitting signatures consistent with high command activity, but there's something off. Its power levels are unstable, and we're detecting unusual fluctuations in its cloaking matrix. It appears to be under some kind of duress. Requesting permission to approach closer for a detailed assessment." Raines's response was measured but urgent. "Proceed, Lieutenant. And report back any signs of a decoy or a trap. If there's even a hint of deception, retreat immediately." As Orlan's team maneuvered closer to the rogue flagship, the tension was palpable. Through the window of his shuttle, Orlan saw a massive vessel that looked as if it were disintegrating from within, streams of energy leaking from its hull, sporadic bursts of light from ruptured sections, and an eerie silence that belied its chaotic state. "Captain, we're seeing what appears to be a catastrophic failure. It's as if the vessel is being torn apart by internal forces. We're picking up traces of destabilized matter, exotic, almost unrecognizable." Back on the Black Ship, Raines's jaw tightened. Could it be that the Dominion is using internal sabotage as a weapon? Or is this an unintended consequence of their own overreach? The Recon team's data began to flow in, and a startling picture emerged. The flagship, once the nerve center of the Dominion's command, had been compromised by a sophisticated virus, a digital parasite designed to infiltrate and disrupt their control systems. "Captain, our analysis suggests that the virus was deliberately deployed. It's unlike anything we've encountered, a hybrid of biological and digital code, engineered to self-replicate and evolve. We believe it was activated remotely, and its effects are cascading through the vessel's systems." A murmur of disbelief and apprehension spread among the Black Ship's crew. Commander Voss spoke softly. "If the Dominion is engaging in cyber warfare on this scale, then their strategy is to undermine not only our physical defenses, but also our ability to command and control. We're up against an enemy that is willing to sacrifice even its own assets to gain an advantage." Raines's eyes narrowed as he considered the implications. "Lieutenant Orlan, abort your approach and retreat immediately. We need to preserve your ships and crew. Your data is far more valuable than any piece of hardware." The orders were executed with precision, and the scout ships pulled away from the disintegrating flagship, their sensors recording every detail for future analysis. Back on the command deck, the atmosphere was heavy with both relief and a renewed sense of urgency. The Dominion's willingness to employ such drastic measures only underscored the peril they faced. It also validated that Zaran's warning deception was at the heart of this enemy's tactics. Ambassador Karen's voice returned over the channel, carrying an undercurrent of solemnity. "Captain Raines, the data you have received confirms our concerns. The Dominion's use of cyber warfare is a dangerous escalation, one that could cripple any fleet unprepared for such an attack. We stand ready to assist you in neutralizing this threat. However, further cooperation will require measures that some might consider drastic." Raines's mind raced. The alliance with the Zaran was now more than a matter of convenience, it was a necessity if humanity was to counter this multifaceted enemy. "Ambassador, specify what you mean by drastic measures," he said, his tone laced with cautious determination. Karen's reply was measured but unyielding. "We have developed a counter-virus, an engineered construct of our own design that can infiltrate and neutralize the Dominion's digital parasite. However, its deployment will require close coordination with your ship's core systems. In essence, we would be integrating our technology with yours at a level of intimacy that blurs the line between ally and instrument. Such integration carries risks, a potential breach of autonomy and an irreversible change in your ship's operational protocols." Raines exchanged a glance with Voss, whose expression betrayed both resolve and concern. "Our ship is our lifeblood," Voss murmured. "If we allow an alien system to meld with ours, we risk losing control of our own destiny." Yet the alternative was far grimmer. The Dominion's virus, if left unchecked, could not only disable the Black Ship but also spread to other Allied vessels, crippling humanity's entire defensive network. Raines's voice was firm as he addressed the bridge. "We have faced impossible odds before, and we have prevailed because we did not shy away from the hard choices. Prepare to integrate the Zaran counter-virus. I want full diagnostic readouts at every stage of the process. We proceed with caution, but we must act swiftly." In a flurry of coordinated activity, engineers and cyber specialists worked side by side with Zaran technicians, their screens flickering with streams of alien code and human schematics merging into a unified protocol. The integration was delicate, a dance of zeros and ones across systems that had been built over decades with human ingenuity and hard-won experience. Sparks of digital energy cascaded along the conduits of the ship's central core as the counter-virus was loaded, its algorithms intertwining with the Black ship's own defenses. Every heartbeat of the ship was now a gamble, a fusion of alien innovation and human resolve. As the integration process neared completion, the ship's systems began to stabilize. A collective sigh of relief swept through the bridge when diagnostic panels confirmed that the counter-virus had successfully neutralized the Dominion's digital threat within the ship's network. Yet even as relief replaced tension, a new challenge emerged. The counter-virus had opened a narrow window into the Dominion's internal systems, a vulnerability that could be exploited if used correctly. Commander Voss's eye sparkled with a dangerous idea. "Captain, if we can interface directly with the Dominion's command network, we might be able to launch a counter-offensive, a digital strike that disrupts their coordination at its source." Raines weighed the proposition carefully. "We have just witnessed the catastrophic potential of cyber warfare. Turning our newfound capability against the Dominion could tip the balance in our favor, but it also risks exposing us to their retaliation. Are we prepared for that risk?" Voss's answer was resolute. "We're fighting for survival. If we can weaken their command structure, even temporarily, it might give our forces the breathing room they need to mount a coordinated defense. We have to take risks. Our enemies have already shown no restraint in their willingness to do the unthinkable." With a curt nod from Raines, preparations for the digital counter-offensive commenced. Specialist after specialist collaborated in the ship's nerve center, translating the complex language of the Dominion systems into actionable directives. The integration process, once a desperate measure of survival, now became the spear with which they would pierce the enemy's armor. As the first phase of the counterattack was launched, the Black ship's systems hummed with renewed purpose, sending out digital probes designed to infiltrate Dominion nodes scattered throughout the battle space near Alios Prime. The probes were silent assassins in the vast expanse of cyberspace, slipping past enemy defenses and planting the seeds of chaos within the Dominion's command structure. For hours, the digital skirmish unfolded like a chess game played in the shadows. Every move was countered, every infiltrator met with resistance, and every breakthrough was tempered by the specter of countermeasures. The Dominion, realizing too late that their digital parasite had been hijacked, scrambled to secure their systems. But humanity, fueled by an indomitable will to survive, pressed its advantage. Data streams converged on screens in bursts of color and light, a war waged in code that would have been invisible to the untrained eye. Raines, standing at the helm, felt both the weight of responsibility and the surge of hope that comes from knowing that, against all odds, his crew was turning the tide. "Hold steady, everyone," he murmured, his voice a calm beacon in the storm of activity. "We're not just defending our ship, we're striking a blow for every human out there who refuses to be subjugated." Outside the immediate vicinity of the Black ship, the Dominion fleet began to falter. Their once impeccable formation wavered as systems crashed and communication channels fell silent. The Zaran, observing the unfolding disruption, transmitted their own tactical support, guiding human forces to target key nodes in the enemy's network. It was a precarious alliance, born of mutual necessity and maintained by the unyielding resolve of those who knew that the alternative was extinction. In the midst of this digital battleground, a decision was made that would forever alter the course of the conflict. The Dominion's flagship, still reeling from the earlier cyber onslaught, was identified as the keystone of their command hierarchy. In a daring maneuver, Captain Raines authorized a direct assault on the crippled vessel. "We're going in," he declared, his voice echoing with the quiet ferocity of a man who had nothing left to lose but everything to gain. A contingent of strike craft, reinforced by both human and Zaran pilots, broke formation and accelerated toward the doomed flagship. In the cold vacuum of space, every maneuver was a dance with death. The enemy ship, its systems in disarray, offered little resistance as the Allied forces closed in. The ensuing battle was swift and brutal, a cascade of laser fire, explosive charges, and desperate evasive maneuvers. In the chaos, Raines's personal shuttle was among those dispatched to deliver a boarding party directly to the heart of the enemy vessel. Inside the wreckage of the flagship, corridors flickered with the dying light of malfunctioning systems, and the air, if it could be called that, was charged with the residue of failed technology and lingering hostility. Raines, flanked by a squad of elite Marines and accompanied by Zaran operatives, advanced cautiously. Every step was a calculated risk, every doorway could conceal remnants of the Dominion's deadly traps. "Remember," Raines intoned, "our objective is clear: secure the command core, gather any actionable intelligence, and neutralize any resistance. Move quickly and quietly." The team encountered pockets of Dominion personnel, their loyalties already fraying under the strain of systemic collapse. In the ensuing skirmishes, the combined might of human resolve and Zaran precision proved overwhelming. The enemy, unprepared for an assault from within their own stronghold, faltered. As the boarding party pressed deeper, they uncovered evidence of a conspiracy that went beyond mere military strategy, a secret that hinted at internal dissent within the Dominion command itself. Among the scattered logs and encrypted files, a startling revelation emerged: several high-ranking Dominion officers had covertly allied themselves with another power, a shadowy faction that aimed to usurp control of the Dominion Empire entirely. Their motives were as murky as the void outside, but the implications were clear: the enemy was not a monolith, but a collection of competing ambitions and betrayals. Back aboard the Black Ship, as the digital counter-offensive reached its crescendo, Commander Voss reported, "Captain, our probes confirm that the Dominion's command network is in shambles. The virus we deployed is spreading through their systems faster than they can patch it. Our allied forces are exploiting every weakness, and preliminary data suggests that the Dominion's flagship is no longer operational. This is our moment." Raines allowed himself a brief moment of satisfaction tempered by caution. "Good work, Voss. But don't let your guard down. We're in the middle of a war that's as much about information and deception as it is about brute force. Stay vigilant." Within the ruined halls of the Dominion flagship, Raines and his team reached the command core, a cavernous chamber dominated by a massive data nexus, pulsating with erratic bursts of energy. Here, in the midst of digital decay, they found the final piece of the puzzle. A terminal, half buried in debris, contained a log that detailed the Shadow faction's plans, a coup that would have plunged the Dominion into even greater chaos had it succeeded. Raines downloaded the files, his mind racing with the strategic implications. This intelligence was a game-changer. With it, humanity could not only fend off the Dominion's assault, but also exploit the internal fractures to forge alliances with disaffected elements within their enemies' ranks. "Mission accomplished," he murmured into his comlink, "we have what we need."